You know, the one thing that everybody spoke about recently when Meghan Markle sat down once again in that rented brownstone house of her very rich friend, of course, flying in on a private jet of her very rich friend. Well, this is the new friend, of course. You see, let me tell you something. Oprah Winfrey might be a billionairess, but according to many, she's not exactly keen on giving, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter who you are, you have to be of the same standing in the billionaire line, you know, the sort of thing. So while they can all have their private jets and all of that sort of stuff, yeah, you can have them, and yes, you can admire them, but people like Oprah Winfrey and the rest, they don't necessarily like to share them, particularly if you don't have your own, i.e. Meghan Markle. And this is really the itch that annoys Meghan, you know, because there she's got this title which she thinks everybody should bow and scrape down to, and the bottom line is she thinks it's terrific. Here I am, everybody should know who I am. But of course, really what it boils down to, particularly when you're a celebrity, is box office, how good are you, how much money are you making, and how much money are you worth? But of course, Meghan Markle recently, as I say, sat down with the Tatler magazine, of which it's really interesting, you know, because Tatler like to perpetuate the myth that this is a really big selling copy of a magazine. Rubbish, you know, these magazines are given away at the rate of knots. I've told you many, many times in my studio, we have them all, you know, Vogue, all of those men's health things and stuff. They're just comped, as they call it. And then if you are a guest in the studio, you can walk away with a copy if you want. Not many people bother to even do that because it's big, cumbersome, and not necessarily everybody's cup of tea. You get the picture. But what was interesting was, at first, Meghan Markle's title, yes, Meghan wandering into the room just on her own, of course, and then being announced, which, I mean, put yourself in the journalist's shoes, right? That must have been an absolute hoot to sit there and think, anybody else in here? You know, no, there's nobody here. But suddenly you realise that Meghan Markle, of course, has announced herself, just in case you were not aware of who she is. But things are starting to take a bit of a darker twist. And Meghan apparently is delighted now that this story's come out. Initially not so. So what changed her mind? As ever, let me explain. Morning chums, lovely to see you. Thank you so much as ever for joining me today, and welcome one and all brand new subscribers. By the way, up and down as I've just been in the United Kingdom filming various things for various channels, it's interesting, you see all the Christmas lights, right? And you think, oh, they're very nice, yeah. They're all plain, boring white lights, not even coloured lights in many places anymore. But the one thing that is very, very similar is the fact that although the lights are here, the one word you do not see wherever you are the words, of course, Merry Christmas. Oh, no, we can't offend anybody, can we? No, and it's terrible, isn't it? Because when you're a kid, that's the thing that you like. Father Christmas, Merry Christmas, season's greetings. You don't even see that. Why have we become such a walkover in this country? I'd love to know what you think to that. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, I would insist that every shopkeeper on the town, if I was the town councillor, has the words Merry Christmas on it. It's a Christian country. It's ridiculous. It's a little bit like this story. Meghan Markle insisting on her own title. This stuff just makes me laugh. You see, what's funny about this is, as I say, I know for a fact that, you know, speaking to staff, that Meghan loves to be addressed in her official title. And when you first go there, you're instructed, you know, if Meghan speaks to you, if she doesn't speak to you, what she might say, the right protocol. This is a woman who apparently, you know, just scratched the surface of her 19 months or so inside the monarchy. And now, like Harry, are clutching at it like a life raft in the ocean because they're so desperate to remain relevant. And of course, titles mean nothing in America. I understand that. But nonetheless, there's a slight quirkiness. If you remember when she sat down with that woman from Bloomberg Original, she said, what's a dukedom? That's a new word. What's a dukedom? It's not a new word at all. But of course, again, slamming it down to make sure that people go, oh, it doesn't really mean anything to Meghan. Oh boy, it does. But here's the deal. You see, staff just talk. Staff really are unhappy with Meghan Markle. And this is because as the show goes on, the with love, as love, Meghan, whatever you want to call it, right? The problem that you have now is that, as I've said, they're all very nervous of their futures. This is a company that's failing, and I don't mean that nastily. Crowded market, and she's probably the most inauthentic person out there trying to sell candles and jams. You know, there's no relatability at all, and it's not particularly good. Candles without wicks and sloppy jam, it doesn't really bode well. So why does she now like the idea of these stories getting out? Well, it's a simple fact, really, and it's down to one or two things. She knows that each and every time that she uses her title, whether she's exposed for using the HRH title, you remember that, where she privately sent it out to a friend, or indeed the dosh bag with, of course, the Duchess of Sussex on there, well, again, that's not by accident, you know, chums. She wants the world to know. And this, as you know, is the bone of contention to His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, Prince William. And she just will do anything to scratch the itch to make him annoyed. Now, she's no intention of stopping using, manoeuvring those titles. She simply doesn't care. And this particular thing, which we know got back inside the palace, basically they were laughing at the fact that, you know, she announces herself as that. But nonetheless, moving forward, this is a bad problem. And Meghan's retaliation to this, backed up by none other than, of course, His Royal Highness, take two. Meghan's retaliation to this, really backed up by Prince Harry, is the fact that, well, nobody did anything for years to the Duchess of York, who apparently is far more, shall we say, tainted than Meghan Markle is. What's she done other than decide she didn't want to be part of the royal family? And of course, the Duchess of York is now no longer simply Sarah Ferguson, but will forever trade on that name. Meghan believes until that's now, well, out in the open, there's simply nothing William can do. More importantly, she believes also that His Majesty the King simply won't turn on her because, still, according to her, he's very fond of her. Fond of you? You didn't bother turning up to his coronation? You'd rather make a lemon cake? Fond of you? At what point does, of course, reality knock in? Neil Sean in the very heart of the United Kingdom.